Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Cohen Group Northwest Studio. My name is Tiffany Holden, and today I am bringing you an overview of the housing market for the last 3 months in Whatcom County as a whole and in Bellingham. But don't worry, I'll be back next week with more details on Ferndale, Lynden, and Blaine, so watch out for that. In Whatcom County over the last 3 months, here's a quick glance at total sales, median days on market, housing appreciation as a whole, and our current median sales price. The number of homes closed that closed year over year is up 29%. And quarter over quarter, so second quarter over first quarter of this year, is up 47%. And this is very normal year over year. We have a seasonal cycle where fewer homes will sell typically in the fall and winter. And then we see an uptick into the spring and summer months for busy season. Now let's take a look at Bellingham at a glance. Here, home closed sales are up 22% from the same quarter last year, which is just really interesting because of what quarter two of 2020 looked like. Those were the 3 months of phase one and kind of the lockdown situation with COVID, and then phase two kicked in at the end of June last year, which is when really the housing market seemed to open up for us. Bellingham prices historically are up 68% over the last 5 years, and they've doubled since a decade ago. And Bellingham, while it is the hottest market in our region, isn't alone. This is Whatcom County and Skagit County as a whole, showing that housing prices have doubled or even more over the course of the last 10 years. And there's plenty of varying opinions on the validity of our current prices. Are they overinflated? Are the prices justified? And then also questions around action steps. What is necessary to bring more housing inventory into our community in the hopes that prices will eventually soften and even drop to some extent? What about new developments? What about infill options or solutions to what's going on in our housing situation in Whatcom County and specifically in Bellingham? And I wish I could answer those questions. I wish that I had an authoritative solution to what is going on in housing in Whatcom County. But one thing that I can point you to are a couple of official resources that really dig into the data and statistics of the housing situation in our region. So, two specifically, this is an interactive housing map that goes into specific neighborhoods in Bellingham and offers a lot of data at a really deep level on the housing market and the housing realities, really. And then the City of Bellingham Consolidated Plan is quite a fascinating document that dives into income analyses, it dives into homelessness, it dives into the rental market, as well as the residential housing ownership market. And so there's a lot of information and data there around all topics related to housing affordability and housing supply in Bellingham. So if you're curious around those topics, I definitely refer you to those particular documents, as well as a Bellingham Housing FAQ website that is linked to several of these as well. So on Facebook, I will link all of those links right above here. On YouTube, they will be in the description box below, so you can check out those resources right here. But putting the larger picture aside for a second, what does that mean for you as a homeowner or as someone potentially looking to buy here in Whatcom County? So for homeowners, I would just say to remember that these are median prices. This is the middle of the road data that accounts for homes that on Chuckanut Crest with views over the water. It also includes, 1910 build craftsman homes in the Columbia neighborhood. It includes new construction homes in the Tremont neighborhood. So I'm going to always be a broken record on these market updates and remind you that every market has lots and lots of smaller niches. Every neighborhood is its own market niche. Every style of house is its own market niche. And so that means that anytime you're making a major home decision, especially when it comes to selling your home, these larger numbers are great for overall context, but you do need a specific comparative market analysis tailored to your specific home and its characteristics. And I would also even say that there's a fair amount of hype surrounding the housing market. People love, myself included, sharing the big crazy numbers and 15 offers here and 30 showings in the first day there. And they're true, but they're not always the entire story. In Whatcom County right now, anecdotally, when we're talking with brokers in our own brokerage and across the county, we're seeing micro shifts in the housing market. One week, a house might have a ton of showings and a lot of offers. Another house that's listed the next week might be a little bit quieter. And so it really comes down to a case by case basis. And so if you're looking to sell your home, a really detailed market analysis will help you know where to position the home strategically and properly in our ever shifting, ever changing home market. Now, for home buyers, it's kind of an intimidating time to be a home buyer, and I definitely have empathy for that situation. Um, it's tough to time the market in any world, and especially one that seems to be changing so rapidly as this one has over the last year. Last year, some people were worried that the market was going to crash and the bottom is going to fall out of home values at second quarter of 2020. Over the last year, a lot of people have told my team that they wanted to wait to buy a home until prices didn't just slow down, but actually were on the decrease or on the decline. Um, I think that there's a lot of validity to looking at what your options are and looking at what you see as larger economic trends. And if you're curious as to what some of those are that indicate a shift from a seller's market, which we've had for several years now in Whatcom County as a whole, towards a balanced or even a buyer's market, I recommend this video that we produced last fall that goes into 7 economic indicators of that sort of shift. And if you're seeing some of those components happening in our community, that might be an indicator that you're moving towards that slightly more balanced housing market. For buyers and for sellers, whatever your situation is, I always recommend consulting with a team of qualified professionals. It might mean a financial advisor, a CPA, a lender, a professional real estate broker, but really building that team around you to consult on what is the best course of action for your life with the dreams, the goals, and the desires that you have for your current home or for your next home. So I know that was a lot. And that was just Whatcom County numbers and Bellingham numbers. So I will be back next week with Ferndale, Lynden, and Blaine data to review for quarter 2 of 2021. And I'll see you then.